right, Shalom, first and foremost, giving all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Hashem Rachak double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom to you brothers out there preaching and teaching on the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth. Shalom Barakathum. And man, I wanted to speak on the money situation that America is in right now, all right, financially. So a major milestone we crossed, I believe, this past week with the US dollar and the debt. And that milestone basically is going to be like the nail in the coffin for this place financially in about a I don't know how long, but I mean it could be anywhere between 3 months, 6 months, a year, but this guy doesn't have long, because what basically happened is when they did that debt ceiling raise back in like June or something, when they raised the debt ceiling, what they're basically doing is asking for a higher credit. It's like asking for a higher credit card limit, basically. So you're asking for more permission to hold more debt, but the more debt you hold, the bigger your interest payments are. You see? And usually, like if you have a credit card, you might have $1,000 balance on it, but the minimum payments might only be like $20, $25, because the bank or the credit card, even though you still owe that debt, they're more concerned with getting their interest first. So they'll actually let you hold that $1,000 in debt on their credit card as long as you keep paying the minimum payments to get the interest down. All right, and every month they charge you more interest. So that the interest rate is 20%. All right, they're gonna charge you 20% on that $1,000. All right, every single every month, and that's how the banks get their money. And so it's really easy for a so-called American to just rack up a bunch of debt, because they can spend $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, all right, and every month they only end up paying $80 to $100 a month, but and that's how people end up getting in credit card debt, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. You like, damn, well, how do you even getting that much credit card? They're just spending money. All right, they're not worried about it. They're in that Babylonian spirit, of I am and I will not sit a widow. Roughly paraphrasing that Isaiah 47. I am, and there is none else beside me. That hedonistic spirit of spending and consumption. All right. Now the U.S. debt has gotten so high that the interest payments, just the interest payments, are now the largest expense in the U.S. budget, man. It's bigger than the military now, and it's bigger than Social Security. Okay, and the military spends almost $1 trillion a year that they write down on paper. That is, we know they spend way more in dark money or whatever. But and then you have Social Security, which I believe is over $1 trillion. All right. But now interest rates, just to pay the debt, when you pay an interest rate, what you're doing is you're not wiping down your debt. You're not paying off any debt. You're paying the financial institution for the right for them to not take a lien on you, for the right for them to not report you to the credit bureau. That's what you're paying for. Your debt is not going down any further, paying off interest. Okay. Now, if the interest rates or to the point where it's the highest number one bill. Imagine if you had so much credit card debt that the interest rates on your credit cards were more than your rent, man. It was more than your rent, your car note. That's the level of drunkenness that we're talking about here in America, man. This is why the scriptures give the analogy of a cup. All right, thou shalt be drunken when you read Lamentations 4. All right, and you read Jeremiah 50. Or 51, I might be messing that up. All right. Babylon has been a golden cup and it's full of debt, man. When you read James the 5th chapter, it speaks about how they heaped up so much debt, man. And they've actually weaponized debt. Not only are they, as Edomites, not going to pay for it, right? They're gonna blame it on you, and at the same time they're blaming it on you, they're taking that same debt and they're weaponizing it across the world, across the U.S. economy. They're leveraging other smaller countries and smaller nations into deals. And over a period of time, what happens is they end up forking over their physical resources out of their land, i.e. Africa, and then in exchange they get debt notes, man. That's a weapon. And why is it a weapon? Because you get the promise of something that you'll get in the future. When the nigga that gave it to you, he knows that it's not worth anything. He knows he has no intention of paying back any debts. He knows that if he has to default on all of this debt, that it's just war, man. He's not gonna pay it. It's just wartime. And ultimately, that's the culmination of this thing, man. We all are looking towards World War III and the end of this thing to happen, man. And there's multiple avenues that is going to happen. All right, and the financial system is one of them. All right, there is really no going back now, man, because once the debt gets that high, it's the number one bill that America has is interest on debt. It's not even the debt itself. That tells you, number one, the debt's never going to be paid off. All right, it's never going to be paid off. And number two, the debt that's owed around the world will trigger World War III, man. Absolutely, 100%. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. If these other nations, when these other nations turn on this American financial system, all right, the American economy is going to be shattered, okay? And what is that going to be an opportunity for Esau to do? All right, Revelation 13 and 16, man. We know that scripture by heart. All right, we don't have to beat the dead horse, but we will beat the dead horse, because that is getting ready to happen, man, and it's extremely important. All right, because this is our last test, man. All of the prophecies that we go over, that's edifying and it's good for educational purposes. But all of those prophecies happen. All of those stories and things that happen in the scripture, they happen. All right, it was all part of a giant story that the Lord is telling for this very time that we're in today, man. All right, the scripture says that, I believe that's in Habakkuk, said, I will work a work in your days that if you have not seen it, you wouldn't believe it, man. All right, it speaks about this time being like no other time on the planet Earth. All right, and of course it's going to be a show, man. You know, and the Lord is getting ready to show out, man. This US dollar is absolutely finito, man. Really, Esau is just waiting to pivot over to the new system, you know, because I don't believe that it's going to be a hard crash like we had in 2008, where people were losing homes and things like that. I think some people will lose homes, but the only people this time that are going to lose homes are going to be the people that refused to take part of you know what I'm talking about. All right, see, that's going to be the thing. See, there's people who are still alive today that lost their house, they had to start all over, they lost their job. There's people who committed suicide, man. All right, over all of that. But the people that survived it, they remember that, they went through it. Now, what do you think they're going to do this time when the whole thing collapsed, after they built back up all of their wealth over the last 15 years? They're going to take it, man. All right, and that's just one lever that Esau is going to be able to pull to push you into getting this thing. All right, he's going to say, oh, it's a crisis, but I got a solution. But you got to do this for this, you know? And he's going to force you into it, man. He's going to try to sell you on it. And then the people that are railing against, he's going to demonize those people, man. Just like he did with this whole 2020 situation, man. You saw all of the division of people wanting to take the you-know-what, and then people not wanting to take it. It's a very, very, very divisive thing, man. All right? And you saw how stupid people were, and how they regret it now, but they're too proud to say that it was a mistake. Well, but it's too late now. Esau already knows that he can get to you. He already knows that spell of fear mongering is effective. All right. But the elect are crying out, man. We're the ones vexed with the filthy conversation. All right, we're the ones vexed. All right, so who is going to be the ones that are okay in that day when other people are losing jobs, their bank accounts are empty, they don't know what to do, they didn't stock food, they don't, and then these plagues are going to compound, man. The scriptures speak about plagues being added. All right, mischief after mischief, the scriptures speak about, man. All right, it's going to seem like, oh, it's just another financial collapse, and yeah, we're going to lose the house and that's it. But no, it's not going to be just that, man. It's going to get way worse. Way, way worse than finances, all right? Then power is going to start going out, all right? Then looting is going to start. You see? Then people are going to start going hungry. And then that's when this place is going to break, man. And that's when the Lord's going to get busy. Them spirits, all the spooky shit. The Lord is going to hit everybody with it, man. But see, the Lord does things, and he revs it up, man. It's like a big crescendo, man. When you think about it, all of the 12 parts of the earth since creation, all right, the 12,000 years, man, it's all really just been a slow buildup. Yeah, there's been pretty climatic events that have happened, like the flood was one, and it reset things, right? But ever since then, it's been a giant buildup, man. There's never been a buildup, all right, this big, ever, all right, ever. And so you have to ask yourself, are in your mind, are you fortified for what's to come, man? Or are you good? If you separated from brothers, you might not be able to get in touch with them, man. Are you good? Are you equipped for that? Those are things to meditate on, because this thing is coming, man. Even all of the Edomites are saying, well, we know it's coming. It's just a matter of when, man. So y'all brothers, y'all gird yourself up, man. Read, pray, fast. Lock in and watch. As quick as we want this thing to go down, Satan will distract you for 1 minute, and then boom, something crazy happens, So that's why the scriptures speak about, keeping your eyes single, all right, so that your whole body be full of light, all right. That's in Matthew. That means you got to be wary of how much time you're spending with women, how much time you're spending on video games, how many hours are you putting into work that are necessary or not, Start examining, man, But I'll end it there, man. Lord willing, this was edifying. Call hello, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Hashem Rachakadash, Wa Abba Shalom.